But so at the time, if we rewind back, when I was listening to the radio at the outset, I was looking for more than that too, because I was like, okay, I'm hearing all this house stuff. At the time, before, now mind you, this was like when it was more the commercial house stuff on the radio that I was hearing before I got into Q101 Sonic Boom, before that even happened. I was looking for more. So what really broke things open for me was a high school trip to London to perform. I was in the marching band. So I went with my high school marching band to perform in the New Year's Day parade, New Year's Day in London. So that was 1996 to New Year's Day of 1997. And so I was in London, and that was the first time that I heard the Essential mix on the radio. I can't recall who was on there, but it was like this, wow, there's this massive radio program, peak time in the middle of the night, and it's this DJ mix, and it's incredible. And then I was hearing, drum and bass in the shops, and UK garage and speed garage, whatever you want to call it. That was blowing up at the time. Daft Punk's Homework was being teased in radio airplay at the time. That was coming out like for the first time. Imagine hearing that, in London, and people freaking out. I mean, it was an incredibly exciting time. And I also
totally new for you, I guess.
Yeah. So I heard all these different things, and I also met someone there. This girl who was from the Detroit area, and she introduced me to Detroit Techno and was giving me mixtapes, and we ended up like having kind of a musical correspondence as well. So so I got into Detroit Techno in London via someone from the Detroit area, and then I also heard all these other sounds that just exposed me, like, oh, this is all that's possible, all these other things that are possible that I haven't been exposed to, because I felt like I knew I loved electronic music, and I knew there was more out there, but I just didn't know where to look. Again, this was pre-internet. You couldn't just Google it. Yep. You couldn't find it. You had to go. You couldn't find it there. You had to find it
to really go look for it.
Yeah. And so then, fast forwarding, I was in Chicago. I went to Minneapolis for school. I was still going back and forth to Chicago as well, and then I started going, to record stores. I went to Gramophone. I was already going to Gramophone Records in Chicago, which was like one of the kind of hot spots of several, but a very iconic Chicago record store. Excuse me. So so I was going there.
Just a second. Just so I understand, you were studying in Minneapolis, and you were going back and forth to Chicago because
no, I was living in Minneapolis. I was living in Minneapolis at the time from 2000 to go to university, but I would still go back to visit family, or like at the outset, I'd go back maybe like for some time over the summer, for example, things like that. It wasn't like I was just commuting every week or something like that.
Was this record store where you used to hold like your own shows or your own gigs? I read somewhere.
No, actually, that's in Minneapolis. That's later. But Gramophone in Chicago was just an iconic record store. I was going there as I got into music on the radio and was listening to it more. It was a record store where it was a DJ record store where it was only like 12 inches and DJ vinyl basically. But they also had in that it wasn't like just all genres of music, but they also had like local mix CDs and things like that, and mixtapes and things like that. So I was already going there as a listener long before I was a DJ, just because like this was the store where you could get the hottest mix tapes, whatever, and get that direct from the sources of people that sold it there. You just couldn't get it anywhere else. You didn't have access. There wasn't major distribution. If you want to get like real Chicago raw dance music, that's where you would go. You have to go to a proper record store. So so I was already in there, and I was around the culture of record store culture and dance music culture, DJ record store kind of situation. So I was into it there, but the one you're mentioning in Minneapolis, that's many years later. I was working at a record store in Minneapolis called Vital Vinyl. That was DJ focused record store. It was all dance music genres of the kind of underground, dance music, but of all stripes. So they stocked, techno and house and minimal, and and they also had like trance and drum and bass and dubstep. It was all DJ based kind of music for the most part, and hip hop as well, in the upstairs section. So yeah, and DJ oriented, like hip hop records. Yep. So so I was working there on the weekends, and I also did a bit of the ordering for the stock there as well for a little while, and helped. I did some of the graphic design, and I was part of the furniture. I was just always there shopping and hanging out. I was friends with the people working there. It was a great little community hub. And it still exists actually, as more of a like pure rental and ticket sales. I mean, these days it's been so long since I was there, but I mean, like most record stores, they had to adapt when vinyl kind of fell off, and we're doing ticket sales and event like gear rentals and things like that, and customizing DJ gear and things like that for people with like graphics and things like that. But but it was a big time. Yeah, it was a proper record store. There's another great record store in Minneapolis called Let It Be. That was it was like a proper full on all genres, massive city block corner record store that had a little dance music room downstairs. That was another spot that I like to frequent as well. Anyway, but yeah, so wow, I mean that was a big long rambling answer, but I mean, in terms of how I got into it, I guess that covers some of the bases.